Hi everyone, it's me, Joyce. I'm here. I'm going to be showing you the background of the orange juice squeezer. And I thought about this background, how I was going to demo it. I want to be able to help those of you that had problems in with the first assignment and the background on that. And there was a kind of a common theme. I think it was more about brush strokes and not enough water, drying too fast, all of those issues that we all have when we're first starting to learn how to do the backgrounds. So with this background, first and foremost, you're going to see how I would apply my pigments. Secondly, you're going to see the common errors, and I'm going to make some common errors here. And then I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll do a part 2, and I'm going to show you how to correct, okay? So I think that'll be a really interesting demo for you guys, and it will be helpful for those of you that had felt that you had problems with your backgrounds. And don't let the fact that you did have problems with your background get to you, because I tell you, I still have problems with my background, but I just know that I can fix them. They're fixable. And I know all the little tricks now because I had to teach myself because I had so many problems. So here we go. Here's my palette. Okay, now I think seeing the palette is like the most important thing. And I have a lot of pigment on there. So what I did was, I'm going to show you, here we go. Boy. Okay, okay, so this is Windsor Green, Blue Shade, Windsor Blue, and that's Permanent Alizarin Crimson with a little yellow mixed in with it, so it'd be a little orange. And this has, right here, this one has the Windsor Green. So I test it first. I want to test the colors together, and it's pretty thick, as you can see. Test it here, and then I can see the consistency or I can see how dark it can be. Then I take my brush and I get it damp, and you can play with this in your palette a little bit and pull it with some water. I'm doing it with my left hand, so it looks a little like I don't know how to paint there. You can pull it with water, pull it down, and you can see what's going to happen when the water hits it, okay? But we're going to start off with a heavier consistency. So let me mix that up for you right now, and I'm going to show it to you again. And I'll only be able to tip up the palette just for a little bit. I've been trying to figure out a better way of filming this so you can see, right into my palette without me having to lift it up. I'm filming this off my computer. And it seems to be one of the better ways. I've tried using a handheld camera, but sometimes that doesn't work very well either. Just because I can't hold the camera and paint at the same time, or apparently I thought I could. Here, do you see that? Do you see the consistency? Look, it's creamy. It's not as thick as yogurt, but you can still see it move. Let's see. Am I getting that on camera? I want to know. Let's see. Oh, well, the light's going to hit it. Okay, see that? There you go. That is key right there. That means that's a nice consistency right there too. Okay? So just play with the beginnings of your mixture and play with the colors and just see what you're going to get before you put it on your paper. Okay, so with that being said, now I think what had happened with some of you, and you know who you are, you might have painted back in, you might have used a brush that wasn't big enough, you might have, just so many things can go wrong with a background. The best advice I could give about a background is that you have to be able to have at least, prepping your paints is first and foremost, not having any distractions. Do not stop and answer your phone. Don't don't stop and look too long at what's going on. Trusting the process is very, 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 very important, okay? And that's just trusting the process is one of those things that we're all going to be learning. You're trusting that I'm going to come back with my brush, too, in front of the camera. Okay, so here we go. I feel that sometimes we can start off with a smaller brush or I like having many brushes ready to go. So I'll have a, I wonder if I can tilt this down just a little bit more. So that might work with okay, so look, I have my bigger brushes. I have a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and a 3/4 inch. And you can have a round ready to go. You can have, whatever you want. And it looks like I'm procrastinating, but it's like, it's part of setting up your pigments so that you can get a good background or get a good start with the intensity and the darkness that we have to get on this one. Okay, without much further ado, let's go. I'm going to get, I keep feeling like I want to go to a round brush, but I'm going to go ahead and start with this smaller guy right here just to get it started. And I'm going to try and not get my arm in the way. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to reach way over here. And let's go. So line it up, line it up. You notice it's upside down, right? Because I'm painting on an easel. It'd be beautiful if it would be lovely if I had a little camera right overhead of my drafting table. The thing is that right now I'm moving my studio space to home, and I'm trying to figure out where my space is really going to be. As far as, I'm going to reach right in here and get my edging on there because that's going to bug me, right? Okay, now move it, keep moving it, keep moving it. You see that? I'm not going to let it sit too long. And don't be afraid about adding. You can add a little bit of water to the edge and then pull it, pull it, pull it. See, all I did was dip my brush into my bucket of water, and then you can pull it on down, pull it on down. And if you're thinking, oh no, it's not as dark as it says in the reference photo, or it's not as dark as, whatever. With that water, you can drop in a little bit more pigment and keep it moving. That looks really pretty. I'm happy with that. Okay, now what happens at this juncture, you're going to want to get a bigger brush because it started off narrow and it's getting wider right about here. Now, always pay attention to everything that's going on. How dry is it? Now, somebody said that they were having trouble with the temperature, what they thought I think it was the bulb or something, warm versus cool bulbs. And I thought that was interesting that, that could be true. That could be true. However, it might just be, let's say, as this area gets a little bit bigger, I'm just going to put a wall of, a little bead of water right here, just to give me, it's kind of, I think of it as my little safety net right there. Okay? Yes, it's dripping. That's okay. So let's say if, right there, and I'm going to keep that nice and wet. As I go back to my pan and I'm mixing, here's something I want you to see too. As I go back to my pan, I'll pick up even more pigment, more pigment, more pigment, and keep that heaviness of the pigment going, and then drop it back in. See that? Drop it back in. Okay, now, some of you, and you know who you are, you probably went back in while this was, while you were working with your background, right? and you're thinking, oh no, I didn't get around the orange or the onion or whatever. I want to get that edge just so. Well, you can see right here, that's not good. I want to fix that. It's just that's just the way it is. You can't fix it just yet. You have to remember that you can always let it dry and go back in, okay? Now, with this brush, this is a good sized brush. Now I'm kind of bring it on down, and keep moving it. Keep moving it. If you're using too small of a brush, you're not going to get the coverage that you need. You know, you're going to get too many brush strokes. So the bigger the brush, the easier your background's going to be. Okay, and I'm going to keep on moving. Now I'm going to add a little bit more water because it's just, you know, it's a little too thick, I can tell. So boom, 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 right there. Coming up to the orange, and again, keep this nice and wet right there. I'm going to keep hitting my edges. I'm not going to forget about that. If you need to have a little round, you know, and if you feel more secure with your round and you want to get in certain areas, there you go. I'm going to do that right there. Boom. Right there, right there, right there. Okay. And here we go. Oh. And I'm going back into my pan again. So, here we go. So, remember, what goes on in your pan is just as important as what's going on in, you know, your brush on the backdrop. Okay? So here it comes. Pulling it through. And that's my dog, because someone's coming through the door. But do you notice how I don't stop? Because that's what you do when you do a background. You pretend like nobody's there. Okay? I think my daughter, she does film. She works in film, and she's an editor, so she would be horrified if she saw my lighting and my camera work.
Looks good.
Thank you, Kate. Okay, now I'm going to get to the part where I'm going to start making those errors, the common errors. Okay, now sometimes what happens is I find people go like this with their brush, and what happens is even though it's filled, you're going like this, you're going, oh, it's so dry, and then you put some more on and you go, what is going on? Well, you're choking your brush. It's like think of a watering hose. If it had a kink in it, the water can't flow through. It's the same thing with your brush. Now, what you want to do, and I'm pretty sure you all do this, but I'm trying to think of some of those things that a common error when you're doing a background, because your focus is different when you're doing a background, especially one this big. You kind of get worried, right? Now, another common mistake is you go back in with a smaller brush and you keep moving, and you keep moving. And if you move and you go, oh no, I didn't get it really consistent right here, and then you come back over here and you keep moving it around, oh no, it's not the right color, it's not matching. And then you try a little bit more paint, and you try a little bit more, and you're going, oh no, it's too blotchy. And then all you're doing is you're creating more trouble for yourself. However, or if any of you do this, please don't do this. If you take a rag and you start mopping it up, all you're doing is you're pressing the pigment back into the background, and it's not going to work that way, because you're just you're pressing the pigment back into the paper, right? And when you get to this juncture, you're going to be like, oh no, the orange, oh no, it's not round anymore. It's okay. It's going to be okay. We can fix it some way, somehow. Okay, because I can see my orange isn't looking so hot right there on the edge. But I'm just going to kind of rediscover it right like so. Okay, so over here it's getting a little blotchy, so maybe that would be the bad side. And I'm going to continue on and finish this off, okay? And I'm going to do a few wrong things right here. So what I'm going to do is shut off the camera right now, so you and I'm going to try and really get some good errors happening. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, bad, 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 and badder. There we go. There we go. Okay. Or if you add too much water, and you feel like it's not, you know, if you want, it just depends on the look. If you want a light source, you know, and you want it lighter on one side, darker on the other, and let's say it's not getting dark enough for you, instead of going back in and trying to get it darker, just go ahead and finish off your thought here, and then we're going to let it dry. And we're going to let it dry, or maybe it gets too blue, or it gets too something. However, just finish it off with one couple brush strokes. Keep going, and just keep moving in the right direction, because once it dries, we can fix it. I promise. Okay, so that's it for now. I'm going to finish this, and then I'll show you how to fix whatever problems we have. Okay.